So cross-stitch patterns can look a bit intimidating when you first see them. They're a bunch of symbols and grids and numbers and can be quite confusing looking, but they're actually quite simple once you get the hang of how to interpret them. So each square on your pattern matches a square on your base. So in this case, we're working on one of our wood bases. So this symbol here, if we've got our jandal facing this way, we're going to be using this pattern. You will find this symbol here is this one down here, and it's made up of these 4 holes here. So that is 1 square and 1 square. So 1 square on the pattern matches 1 square on the wood base. So this square is made up of these 4 holes here. It's actually a bit easier to do this on the wood bases than the fabric because the holes are so clearly laser cut out for you. So with our wood bases, sometimes you'll get your pattern has a left and a right facing, like this Jandal's pattern. If you're only going to do one, you have to choose which direction you're going to stitch it. With some of our magnet kits, that's already determined for you based on which way the bird is facing on the front. With our ornament kits, often you can choose which direction you are going to stitch it in from the left and the right options. So just look at your pattern and determine if you're going to stitch the left or the right version. In this case, I'm going to stitch this version here. Now, with looking and interpreting how to use the pattern, you can see this symbol here matches this symbol down here. So this is our little searching eyeglass. So that matches this symbol down here, which is DMC 310. Now in your kit, you'll also have a thread card, which will have the symbol on the card itself. So there we have that same symbol and it matches this thread here. So when you go to stitch that thread, you would take it from this symbol here. And then you would do that exact same thing for the other one. The other symbol here, you would look at when you're stitching this one, you'll look at that symbol there, and that symbol matches this one here. Now you have these funny little marks on the side. These aren't so pertinent in our wood kits, but they just mark where the center of the pattern is. For our wood kits, normally what I suggest is starting at your top left or your bottom left, because that way you can easily determine which hole that you're using. So this top left hole here would be starting up here in the top left of this jandal here. It's just a bit easier when they're pre-cut out like this to just start at one of the top left or top bottom, because you're not worried about centering it on the piece of fabric because it's already determined in size. With some of our patterns, you'll also get a color version. I don't actually recommend using the color version for beginners. I think personally I prefer the black and white version because it's easier to mark off the symbols as you go, and therefore easier to determine where you have and haven't been.